Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am well, thank you. Now, let me ask you, this says that you were a youth trip participant. How did you manage to participate with an OCC trip?
Well, it's always really been my dream to hand out OCC shoe boxes. And last year, I was a co-leader at my church's Operation Christmas Child shoebox packing party.
Mm-hmm.
And I attended a kickoff event where a girl who was about my age was talking about her trip to distribute shoeboxes. And I was just so amazed. I mean, here was someone who had lived my dream. And so I talked to her after her presentation, and she got me in touch with some people who were instrumental in getting me an application. So I applied to the Samaritan's Purse Youth Program and was selected as one of 20 students across the U.S. to go to the Philippines this summer and distribute shoeboxes. So it was definitely a dream come true for me, and God showed us so many amazing things during our trip there.
What an honor that was, that you were chosen, only 20 people, and you got to go to the Philippines. So a lot of these boxes aren't there at Christmas because I guess we forget other countries, they're not celebrating Christmas.
Well, and
like when we do, or if they celebrate at all.
Yeah, and it would be hard for Samaritan's Purse to gather all those up in a buggy and distribute them all in one day.
Okay, are y'all going to laugh at me?
No, never. Yes, I am. Hey,
I believe that they got them all there before Christmas in 130 countries. Ray, I'm blind. What can I say?
You know, this is one of the best programs. We all wonder how we can make a difference in the world. And here's Abby. She goes to the Philippines, and she actually, a lot of us are on the front end giving the gifts. Abby's on the other end. Tell us exactly what you did when you got to the Philippines. What was a day like on that trip?
Well, I'd never officially been out of the country before, unless you count Canada, which I'm told doesn't count. And so the Philippines was a whole new experience for me. The culture was really, really rich, and we had a lot of Filipino meals, and the weather was incredibly hot. But our typical day consisted of one or two shoebox distributions, which took place at a school or a church. And going to my first shoebox distribution was so incredible. The joy at those distributions was just through the roof. And I was really touched by how grateful the kids were, regardless of what they received in their box. I mean, there was no discontentment or envy or jealousy, but every child was just fully content with whatever they received. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful God-filled event to be part of.
And Abby, we wanted our family out there that's listening to know that they tell them about Jesus too. So not only do they give them the boxes, but they take time, to walk them through who Jesus is. I think there's a booklet in every box,
The
right?
Greatest Journey. And
Absolutely.
It's printed in the language of that country. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Abby.
Yeah, the distributions begin actually with the gospel presentation in the child's language. And just watching the kids listen to these gospel presentations, maybe for the first time, and being led in prayer and reading their gospel booklets it really just sent chills up my spine, even though it was about 90 degrees. And the kids just soaked in that good news with just open hearts and open minds, They were just so innocent and so excited for this gospel presentation.
Abby, did you get a lot of hugs?
Yes, the kids loved hugs, high fives. Just my hands were worn out from high fives by the end of those distributions.
It really is. There's no way to accurately describe what it's like when you get to, because they all wait. They wait till the end of the presentation, like Abby said, and then there's a countdown. And to see those kids all rip into the boxes at the same time and just see the looks of joy, on their face. And like she said, there is no envy over what the other person has. Just everybody's happy to get their own box, and each box is unique, even though sometimes a lot of the items are the same. Mm-hmm. Each box, it seems like, and when there's a note in there from the family that sent it, or a picture of that family, the kids really get excited about that, and they'll go to the interpreter and ask them to interpret the letter for them.
And we want to encourage you too that if you can't get one out this week because you've got a lot going, that you can build a box online. And we did that last year, and that's just as great of an experience. And so one way or another, you can get involved. And Abby, it's so great to hear from you because, I mean, you're someone that has seen it happen in action where the boxes are going into their hands.
Yeah. Hey, Abby, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
All right. God bless.
You too.
Ray and Lauren, one of the things in Todd's article is he said, nobody really likes to get fruit of the loom for Christmas. Well, that's not exactly true.
Yes.
Because the kids, the washcloths, the socks, that makes a difference in some of their lives.
If you are on the other side of the world, if you're in Sudan, if you're in the Philippines, if you're in Haiti, the most wonderful gift might be a clean set of underwear, a clean set of socks, a bar of soap. I mean, things that we in America take so much for granted. These things mean the world to children in impoverished countries around the world. So don't take for granted at all that this doesn't matter. We're, through Operation Shoebox, we're introducing children to the true meaning of Christmas, to the Lord Jesus, and we're meeting some very basic physical, personal needs.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of fun to pack the shoebox too. And Lauren, as you mentioned, with the Build-A-Box online, and coming up on December 2nd, we're setting the entire day aside to help raise funds for Operation Christmas Child. And so part of that will be for the folks that can't maybe participate. They can send money in to help with that. They can also go online to Build-A-Box. And as you mentioned, your family did, they can do those individually. So that's one of the things there that it just really is neat. And I did have the opportunity earlier this year to go to Lima, Peru, where we did some distribution. And
I was going to ask
just like
if you
Abby
had
said,
seen it.
Yeah, it's incredible. Did my first international sermon while I was there, and a very brief sermon, I might add. It took me back to the early days. But when you have someone interpreting for you, it's you have to develop a cadence with them.
You
do. I'm just a country boy. Now, Ray.
He probably didn't know what you were saying, Jim.
Oh, no, he did.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he understood me relatively well. I did call my oldest daughter, though, so he could hear what a true Southerner sounded like. So
she's like, hey.
Yeah, put her on speakerphone. Ray, however, works with a lot of folks because he does several international trips a year. So, Ray, when you are able to spread that gospel, what is with your organization? What does that do for you?
There's nothing more exciting to me than going to a place like Haiti. We were there last year. China had been there 5 or 6 times. India been there a couple of times. It's just quite different to go overseas, go to a different culture, go to people who don't have churches on every corner and don't have all the benefits we have here in America, and to share the good news of Jesus with them. It's the most thrilling thing in the world. To see, Jim, you've seen it, that their eyes light up when they hear the news about Jesus. I can't imagine anything more satisfying than being a part of God's work, not just in America, but around the world.
If you need details, you can go to SamaritansPurse.org. SamaritansPurse.org. You still have time in the next couple of days to put a box together, and they'll give you instructions if you haven't done it before and tell you exactly what you need to do. And
like I said, there are some do's and don'ts.
Right. There are certain things that can travel and certain that can't. And the distribution centers take care of all that, but it's still better if you can make it accurate from the beginning. And then if you want to build a box later, they'll walk you through that too and help you understand what to do.
All right.